With the recent release of the new SpongeBob movie and Warner Brothers' announcement that they'll be producing a big-screen Adventure Time film, it got me thinking that it's been a while since we've seen the trend of taking popular animated series and making big-screen adventures out of them. That used to be quite frequent when I was younger, but seemed to slow down after the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie. While a good chunk of them were merely longer episodes of the shows, there were also those that did a very good job of expanding their characters. By the way, this list is exclusively for those movies based on animated series that kept the style of the series and was done by the same people involved in the show. So no live-action adaptations or animated films done many years after the fact. Sorry, Mr. Peabody and Sherman. I'm also allowing movies that were direct-to-video or were made for television because there were some gems on the small screen too. For those ground rules set, here we go. DuckTales the movie, Treasure of the Lost Lamp. There was a time when Disney considered making big-screen movies out of their Disney afternoon programming, and while this was the only one they made, it's still a decent effort. Understanding what made the show so appealing, this is all the adventure and humor we expect from DuckTales. Like the other entries on this list, the animation was upgraded and the stakes were raised here. Scrooge McDuck is as funny as ever, and the genie is a likable plot device. The best part is hearing that addictive theme song in its full orchestral glory. With DuckTales returning to television screens in 2 years, it would be fantastic to also see them in a new cinematic adventure. The Rugrats movie. The series did not have the babies straying too far out of parental supervision, but for the feature film it made logical sense to increase the stakes and take them into the dangers of a dark and scary forest. The Klasky Csupo animation also saw an improvement with a lot of great shadows and textures. Best of all, the characters were well developed, and I especially liked Tommy's growth in the movie. A lot of people thought the addition of Dill was when Rugrats jumped the shark, but I think he was necessary in developing Tommy and seeing him grapple with this new addition to the Pickles family, and leads to some genuinely emotional moments. Add in some exciting and actually tense moments of peril, and the funny reactions from the other babies that made the series so appealing, and you have one of the high marks of the Rugrats franchise. The Simpsons movie. Like a lot of people, I think The Simpsons lost some of its luster around 2000, and hasn't really regained it since. However, for the long-in-development movie, Matt Groening, David Silverman, and James L. Brooks created what I think is far and away the best thing carrying The Simpsons name since we entered the new millennium. Yes, it is kind of like a longer episode of the show, which Homer proudly admits in the opening scene. However, the humor is quick and funny, the animation team takes full advantage of the widescreen image, and the new format allows for new targets for them to poke fun at. There are even scenes of genuine heart, especially one scene where Marge finally has enough of Homer's antics. The Dome storyline allows the writers to up the ante, and they think of clever ways of utilizing their vast assortment of characters. No, it's not on par with, say, Homer's Enemy or the best Treehouse of Horror segments, but it's nonetheless a very strong big-screen upgrade for the Springfield clan. Phineas and Ferb, Across the Second Dimension. For a while, Disney was planning on producing a Phineas and Ferb movie for theatrical release, but that appears to be on hold at the moment. However, at least we have this Disney Channel original movie to tide us over. Dan Povenmire and Jeff Swampy Marsh successfully expand the world of Phineas and Ferb as they jump to an alternate dimension. The smart humor we have come to expect from the show is all there, and it's always fun to see them break a bit from the formula. The interaction between Doofenshmirtz and his double in the second dimension is hilarious, and it's also nice to see the film expand on Phineas's friendship with Perry the Platypus. The songs are of course excellent, and all of them are instantly memorable, with Everything is Better with Perry, Summer, and I Found a Brand New Best Friend being particular highlights. Whether you watch it in the summer or any other time of year, Across the Second Dimension will please any Phineas and Ferb fan. Batman and Mr. Freeze, SubZero. One of many movies in the Bruce Timm DC universe, this film did a great job of concluding Mr. Freeze's character arc from Batman the Animated Series, and almost serves as a finale for the original series before the events in the new Batman adventures. What's really good about this movie is how they develop a lot of the major characters. Batman and Mr. Freeze get a lot of time to showcase their respective arcs, as does Robin. While Barbara Gordon serves more as a damsel in distress through the runtime, she still gets moments that show off her inner Batgirl. It has all the right ingredients we want from a Batman movie, and after the previous year's weird portrayal of Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin, this thankfully exists to treat him the way he deserves, as a tragic figure and not a punchline. Teen Titans: Trouble in Tokyo. Yes, another DC animated movie. A great end to the series. This has all the humor and action we expect from the show, and it's particularly fun when the Titans go off in their separate ways. Beast Boy's storyline is a favorite of mine as he invests himself in Japanese pop culture. I also like how the movie expands on Robin and Starfire's relationship, and in many ways the movie is almost full circle, since the Teen Titans animation style is largely inspired by anime. The show was an excellent use of these superheroes, bringing a new spin to them, and Trouble in Tokyo proved a very worthy and exciting end to the series. Kim Possible, So the Drama. Before the show was revived for a fourth season due to popular demand, this was originally meant to be the series finale. Despite being made for television, there's a cinematic feel to the movie, which fits, since creators Bob Scully and Mark McCorkle originally wrote the script for a live-action movie that was never made. The use of shading is something I have to commend the film on, but it never loses sight of the characters despite the increased budget. Kim and Ron go for some genuine development through the film, and Dr. Draken's plan actually has a real chance of succeeding this time. It plays with the teenager stereotypes to the plot's advantage, and the little nods to Alias and James Bond are amusing too. I would even go so far as to say this deserved a theatrical release. Yes, it's that good. Tiny Toon Adventures: How I Spent My Vacation. Tiny Toon Adventures was a landmark series for Steven Spielberg and Tom Ruegger, highlighting a return to madcap Looney Tunes antics. This direct-to-video movie kept that high energy alive as we watched the gang on their summer vacation and multiple road trip adventures. Seeing Daffy Duck suffer through a car ride with Hampton's family is hilarious to watch unfold, and Elmira's hijinks with some jungle animals are always good for a laugh. Particularly worth praising is the music, which have always been huge parts of the 90s Amblin cartoons. The opening song is excellent, perfectly summing up our anticipation for the summer season to start, and who does not love the Tiny Toons theme? While there were a couple of specials after this was the last major project for the team before they went on to make their best creation yet. More on that later. Thunderbirds Are Go. Jerry Anderson's most beloved series, it was actually a perfect fit for the big screen, as the world of Thunderbirds already had a massive scope to it. The bigger budget allows for more possibilities as the sets become more lavish and the action set pieces become more spectacular. It's especially amazing to hear Barry Gray's triumphant march in all of its glory and taking full advantage of the surround sound. Most importantly, it feels like a genuine cinematic experience and not just a couple of episodes strung together. The 1960s elements even add to the production's charm, as do all the characters we have come to know from the show. For those of you whose only Thunderbirds movie was that terrible live-action version, please seek this underappreciated gem and see who the actual, real Tracy family are. Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. While many people love Batman Begins for understandable reasons, this is my favorite big-screen Batman origin story. Bruce Timm and Eric Radomski already did an amazing job with Batman the Animated Series, and they show they're just as adept at making a feature-length superhero picture with this. What's particularly impressive was the decision to release this in cinemas was very last minute, and the directors had to improve aspects of the film to make it appropriate for the bigger screen. And they succeeded. With the size, the use of lighting, and art direction, we feel how immense Gotham City is. The script also does a fantastic job of highlighting what Bruce Wayne is going through as he transforms into Batman. The Phantasm also etches himself immediately as one of the Dark Knight's best villains, and Mark Hamill's Joker is always a delight. When people run down the theatrical Batman movies, this is surprisingly absent, which is a shame. This movie is so good, I even personally rank it above the Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan films. That's high praise indeed. Wacko's Wish. I already went into full detail about why I love this in an entire video I did back in December, but it's worth repeating. The final time we would ever see the Warner siblings and the rest of the Animaniacs characters, this put them into a brand new locale, and in its mad world type adventure, with all the whip-smart comedy the series was acclaimed for. The songwriters put together a brilliant set of musical numbers, with the fast-paced Wishing Star song being a particular highlight. There's also an emotional undercurrent, but not one that feels out of place in Animaniacs, and it shows how much Spielberg, Ruegger, and the rest of the team cared about these characters. It's a shame Warner Brothers did not think of releasing this on the big screen, because it absolutely deserved that treatment, especially for what is basically the final farewell for Yakko, Wakko, and Dot. And my favorite cartoon movie adaptation is South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Living up to the promise of its title, Trey Parker and Matt Stone went all out when bringing Kyle, Stan, Cartman, and Kenny to the big screen. Taking full advantage of the cinematic format, this is a full-blown Broadway musical filled with intelligent social commentary. Taking aim at whiny people who want to censor everything and would rather throw the blame elsewhere for their children's actions, this is surprisingly still relevant today, which shows how powerful and important its message is. Of course, the jokes are excellent, even if they've done more shocking material since then. Adding to it is the simplicity of the animation, which fits into how this probably reflects a more accurate way of how children see the world. The songs are biting and memorable, the characters are very funny, and the story is befitting the movie treatment rather than just being a longer episode. It is everything that a big cartoon movie adaptation needs. Thank you for watching, and if you'll excuse me, I'm going to petition Disney to make a Gravity Falls movie. See you next time.